You have to make these pumpkin cinnamon rolls this fall. They are the best cinnamon rolls I've ever had. Hey, it's Maria. I'm back with another recipe, and it's pumpkin cinnamon rolls. They're warm and soft and fluffy. They're just perfect. Let me show you how to make them. I started off with some warm milk, about 3/4 of a cup. I just popped it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and that did the trick. I added 1/4 of a cup of sugar and 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. You could also just use a yeast packet. I poured all of that into the mixer once it had bloomed and added 3/4 of a cup of pumpkin, half a stick of melted butter, an egg, a tablespoon of cinnamon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger, and a little bit of salt. And next I added my flour. I used bread flour, but you can just use all-purpose flour if that's all you have. I ended up just adding about 3.5 cups of flour, but you could add up to 4 cups. Just keep an eye on it, and once it starts coming off from the edges of the mixer bowl, then you know it's done. So I just let the mixer knead the dough for about 5 or 10 minutes. It's looking and smelling so good already. So I covered my dough with a damp cloth and just let that sit for a little over an hour to rise. It ended up rising beautifully, and it's ready to roll. I rolled that guy out into a nice or not so nice rectangle and spread half a stick of melted butter on it. Got my brown sugar cinnamon mixture and sprinkled that all over the butter. You can use more or less of the sugar mixture, it's really up to your taste. I rolled the dough up, and I like to pinch the end of the dough to close it. So now it was time to cut my dough into those beautiful swirly pieces. This is my favorite part. I know some people like to wrap string or floss around the dough to cut their pieces, but that has never worked well for me, so I just use a knife to mark where each piece should be cut. So there are 12 rolls. Then I place them in my 9x13 dish. I just used the extra melted butter I had to keep the rolls from sticking to the bottom, but you can use non-stick spray. Now I just cover them and wait for those beauties to rise. And they did. They rose perfectly, and they're ready for the 350-degree oven. I had them in the oven for a little over 20 minutes. Once they were barely brown, I took them out because the longer you cook cinnamon rolls, the drier and harder they'll be. So I just let them cool while making the frosting. The frosting is so simple, but I make it all the time because it's just so good. It's just half a stick of butter, half a block of cream cheese, a splash of milk, and a splash of vanilla. Next, I just mix in what looks like 2 cups of powdered sugar until it's a nice creamy frosting. I didn't have any maple syrup on hand, but if you do, that would be a great addition to this frosting to make it even more fall inspired. I spread that cream cheese frosting on, and they just turned out so perfect. They're fluffy and soft, and the natural nutty sweetness from the pumpkin makes these cinnamon rolls taste so lovely. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss my next series. It's about apples. We're gonna do apple picking, we're gonna make applesauce, we're gonna can some stuff. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that series. Thanks for watching, and take care.